안녕하십니까. 이번 웨비나 안내를 맡은 서비스나우 코리아 어드바이저리 솔루션 컨설턴트 임광수입니다. 우선 저희 서비스나우에 대해 많은 관심을 가져주셔서 감사드립니다. 그리고 바쁘신 와중에도 이렇게 웨비나에 참석해 주셔서 또한 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 이번 웨비나는 플랫폼 for IT를 통해 어떻게 비즈니스 서비스를 보증할 수 있는지라는 주제로 진행이 되는데요. 모두가 동의하실 겁니다. 현재 IT는 비즈니스의 혁신을 주도하고 있고 비즈니스 성장에 있어 그 어느 때보다 더 중추적인 역할을 하고 있습니다. 따라서 기업의 디지털 전환 과제를 수행함에 있어서 가장 근간이 되는 영역이라고 할 수 있습니다. 이번 웨비나를 위해 두 분의 발표자를 모셨습니다. 먼저 서비스나우의 APJ 프린시펄 컨설턴트인 피터 도어티님, 그리고 APJ IT 트랜스포메이션 팀의 시니어 디렉터인 마이클 포피리오님입니다. IT를 위한 서비스나우 플랫폼이 무엇인지, 그리고 실제로 어떻게 IT 트랜스포메이션에 도움을 줄 수 있는지를 말씀드릴 예정입니다. 자, 그럼 웨비나를 시작하겠습니다.
Welcome. My name is Peter Doherty, and I'm a principal consultant with ServiceNow here in APJ. And I'm joined by my good friend, Michael Porforio, who is a Senior Director, IT Transformation, also in APJ. Today, what we would like to talk to you about is delivering high levels of service assurance with the ServiceNow platform for IT. And Michael will walk you through that very shortly. But before we get to that, I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the things that I see in my travels talking with senior C-level executives within organizations about what are the imperatives, and especially with some of the discussions that I've had with large Korean companies over the last 12 months. Virtually every organization I talk to is discussing how they drive digital transformation. They're discussing how they transform the experience of their employees, their customers, the citizens that they serve. And this is going to be a large change in the way of delivering business services. Digital transformation is going to be the difference between companies surviving or failing over the next few years, because if they don't transform, other companies who are transforming will be offering better experiences, better products to their customers, and they will take market share. It also means that those ones that are doing better digital transformation to their employees will attract more talent and retain that talent, making them more competitive against the companies that don't do that. So digital transformation has been around for some time, though now it is something that is talked about at the board level, at the chairman level, and it is the chairman who are often driving some of these transformation efforts. Now, one of the things that is really important as your executives get involved with transformation, it is very, very essential that you have a firm vision of what you want to do and how you want to drive that transformation, though you cannot abdicate that vision down to a task force or a group of individuals who will then be asked to go and evaluate a tool set which will be underpinning that transformation. You need to make sure that your vision is communicated and those people going to do the evaluations are held accountable against your vision. Because the challenge is, if this doesn't happen, they will recreate technical debt that you already have and is stopping you from doing what's right for the business. So very, very important. Executive vision and sponsorship has to be communicated to people, looking at what the options and driving them towards the new path. Now, that being said, as some of these things go down the levels within the organization, you have people who are tasked with managing budgets to keep the lights on, to growing the business. Unfortunately, the last time Gartner put out one of their surveys, they gave guidance that most IT organizations are spending 70% of their budget on keeping the lights on. 70% of their budget keeping legacy systems in place. Yet 30% on growing the business. The newer companies that are coming in, the digital natives, they are not burdened by that. They're looking at putting as much of their budget into the growing the business. So those ones that are putting the money into keeping the business running will be overtaken by those that are growing the business very, very shortly. If you're a senior executive, you want to try and shift that budget into the grow the business, support the business outcomes and where they want to be. But as a business executive, especially within IT, there's a number of challenges. And some of those challenges are that you will have a great deal of demand, what the business wants you to do. You will have a limited budget, as we said before, you will have limited resources, and you will have limited time to deliver those things. So what you really want to do is have a process in place where you can manage the incoming demand and then have a set of criteria that is even across all the different demand. So you can then start moving the needle towards the business demand that is about growing the business, reprioritizing where the revenue goes, reprioritizing where the budget goes into getting those new grow the business things happening. It is a challenge because a lot of organizations will run these things straight out of spreadsheets, and they will have some of the biggest macros you've ever seen. That is, everyone is too scared to change because for fear of breaking the spreadsheet. What the more foreseeing execs are now doing is looking at a platform like ServiceNow, where you can manage the demand coming in, have a set of priorities, and then go work out which ones you need to fund. Very delicate balancing act that successful executives are getting right and getting right more often than not. And then the big thing about being able to go to that digital transformation is about delivering new business services, new innovation and velocity. And this is where the DevOps world is taking off. I've seen a number of customers I'm talking to in Korea that DevOps is now becoming the backbone of how they deliver business services. And this isn't just the new digital natives. This is some of established organizations that are realizing this is where they have to go. The challenge with DevOps, some of them are finding, is that we talked about service assurance. Service assurance is about keeping your business services up and running and being able to respond if there's any degradation against this. DevOps, with its deliver at velocity philosophy, they don't want to go through the traditional change management tools, and nor should they, because they are for more bigger, riskier types of work. What those organizations are looking at doing is how they can maintain the governance of change management, but only apply it to a very, very small percentage of the releases that go into production. I have a large customer in the US that changed the velocity of DevOps deployments from 2 weeks to 2 hours. And they also changed the number, the percentage of those that needed to be looked at because they needed extra governance. That governance means that you have a better view of risk or impact and who the business stakeholders are involved, so as to get them involved with the approval process. 95, 96, 97%, send straight through, automatically approve them, but keep a record that they have been approved, so if default does occur, then you can go back and find out what it was. And it's not just these releases into production that affect your operational service assurance. It's about the faults that can generate. Most organizations have spent a lot of money on monitoring tools, and these monitoring tools look at all different feeds, but they look in a very siloed view in those feeds. To be a high level of service assurance, keep those business services up. Organizations are now looking at a very holistic view of what makes up the business service. What are all the components? What are the relationships? And then being able to use things like machine learning and AI to take multiple events from different sources, be able to look for root cause, use machine learning to route to the correct supporter team, or take remediation action to make sure that those business services are up and running. And whilst you're doing that as a C-level executive, you need to be able to take a business lens to look at all the metrics that are coming in, look at all the data feeds that are telling you what's happening, and then use those to make insightful decisions about how you course correct across these times. A lot to cover in the first few minutes of this. This is the message that I'm getting from multiple C-level executives that I'm talking to at the moment. The pandemic of the last year has just accelerated this because our digital services are much more important than they were. And we're also finding that we have new digital services that we didn't have before that are now mission critical to us. Let me now introduce you to Michael Porforio. Michael Porforio and I have known one another for a long time, and he, like myself, talks to C-level executives all over APJ about not only the challenges that they have, but also about the way that they can solve those challenges using the ServiceNow platform for IT. So with that, I'll introduce you to Mike Porforio. Mike, when you're ready, where you go. Thanks.
Thank you, Peter, for that introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Porforio. I am the Senior Director for IT Transformation here at ServiceNow. I'd like to spend the next 30 minutes or so with you delving into what the platform for IT is and how it actually can help your organizations transform IT. In my role, I have the privilege of speaking to hundreds of customers both here in Asia Pacific and around the globe. Our customers are driven by a few common priorities. They're looking to deliver better experiences for employees and customers, saving costs now more than ever, moving to the cloud, and delivering secure and resilient operations, all with the goal of innovating more quickly. However, there are some challenges stopping you from achieving your goals. You are managing lots of software. You have your traditional packaged apps such as ERP, CRM, HCM perhaps, which are on a slower methodical upgrade cycle. And then you have these new digital apps that are going to change the game and help you engage quickly with employees and customers. These new digital apps are going to become more and more important as every company is becoming more like a software company. But you're also looking to increase velocity of your innovation while maintaining security and quality and keeping costs in check. Because you can't compromise operations by focusing on development. You need to consider every part of the life cycle. And it's also important for IT leaders to have full visibility across the life cycle of all your services to ensure you're managing your resources, have predictability, and get notified when something is about to fail. You need to bring together all of your enterprise's software into a single platform, allowing you to accelerate your innovation while still ensuring quality and reliability. There's a revolution happening in the software industry focused on improving speed and quality. Customers need to move from fragmented tools and silos across all of their IT functions, just like this slide is showing, to a platform for IT that brings them together to give you speed and quality. The ServiceNow platform for IT was built to help solve these current challenges and designed to be flexible to solve future challenges. The Now platform, built with one architecture, one data model, allows you to bring together the thousands of tools into a single platform to give end-to-end visibility, insight, and governance across your organization. We provide a solution that helps organizations plan their service offerings, build them via leveraging waterfall or agile methodologies, operate them, and deliver service assurance. To help you integrate with all your other systems, we provide an integration hub designed to make this easy. We have hundreds of out-of-the-box integrations, or you can write your own using our platform tools. What's shown on this slide is only a small sample of the systems that we can integrate with. ServiceNow is already a global trusted leader in IT, helping thousands of companies plan, build, drive resilient operations, and power automations for a modern service experience. The platform for IT gives customers the ability to deliver a better experience to customers and employees by breaking the silos of your tools and teams to deliver more quickly with higher quality at lower cost. This means your teams from product development, operations, site reliability engineering, security and service desk all now have a single platform that enables them to collaborate, innovate, and deliver service assurance. So now let's take a closer look at what actually makes up the platform for IT. For ServiceNow and our customers and employees are at the epicenter of any digital transformation activity. Your services, products, and apps are the vehicles for delivering great experiences that strengthen customer engagement and unlock employee productivity, both critical to business growth. Any successful transformation needs a strong digital foundation. The Now platform is that data foundation for IT and the wider business. It combines a technology view, CMDB, with an organization's planning, resource, and operational information on a single platform. We also provide a single workflow engine, integration engine to actually integrate with other systems in your environment, an integrated machine learning engine, and also mobile capabilities. From a business perspective, we're also able to provide end-to-end visibility of the overall process, from plan all the way through to service, and apply the appropriate levels of governance so that IT leaders can make better, more impactful decisions and achieve greater levels of agility. The Common Services Data Model, or the CSDM, is the key golden thread connecting all the different key capabilities on the ServiceNow platform. It gives them a common language so that ServiceNow applications can leverage shared data to drive key business outcomes. It also makes it easy to understand the context of requests coming into the system, which can either be from machines or human generated. And then leveraging that context, it allows you to make informed decisions of what you need to do with those requests and then act on them in an automated fashion. The ServiceNow platform for IT brings together a core set of capabilities. These capabilities are around the following categories. IT Business Management. IT Business Management is focused on project portfolio management and how to optimize those plans and actually how to scale those plans for your business. DevOps is focused on accelerating CI/CD tool change, primarily focused on automating change management to speed DevOps pipelines. IT Service Management is core to ServiceNow and is what the company was founded on, and is really focused on how to elevate the service experience for both customers and employees. Integrated Risk Management brings together governance, risk, and compliance applications to allow customers to proactively manage their risk across their entire organization. Security Operations are designed for your security analysts to give them the information they need to help them identify, prioritize, and respond to any security threats faster. IT Operations Management is focused on the running of IT, enhancing visibility of IT resources, all powered by AI Ops. IT Asset Management is focused on managing software and hardware asset managements to help reduce risk and license non-compliance. All of this is done on a single platform, single data model, which can provide a massive advantage when trying to transform any end-to-end IT process. Now what I'd like to do is walk through how these capabilities connect together to transform the delivery of IT. So we're going to start our journey around strategy, because delivering successful transformation must start with a strategy, and it's one of the most important things that an organization has to get right. With IT Business Management, or ITBM, you're able to capture your strategies and goals, and align investments to them, and measure the investment's contribution to delivering the strategy in real time. Investment funding then enables funds to be allocated to any investment entity, example business unit, product, portfolio, etc. And for these funds to be distributed across your organization's funding hierarchy based on the strategy. This ultimately gives you visibility of not only what your strategies and goals are, but how much it's going to cost you. Fundamentally, we're also looking to drive innovation by generating a constant stream of new ideas and initiatives. The innovation portal effectively widens the funnel to capture great ideas from wherever they originate from, and by facilitating stakeholder collaboration creates a stronger pipeline of ideas. The key is therefore to create a single centralized demand pipeline. So demand management provides a single view of all the change opportunities in your organization, from run the business and change the business, and the ability to prioritize them objectively using a consistent scoring mechanism. This then can feed into a continuous planning process where you can leverage powerful what-if scenario planning capabilities that can enable organizations to more effectively identify and select the right change opportunities that will deliver the most business value in the context of the strategy and the resource you have available, finances, and time constraints. So once you've determined what to invest in, the focus then will shift to planning and managing the delivery. And now here it's very important that the most appropriate work method is adopted. Every organization uses a different method. We support all of them. We support waterfall, agile scrum, scaled agile, or hybrid, which is a combination of water, scrum, and fall, or waterfall. ITBM uniquely supports all of these methods in a single solution, and by doing so provides organizations with that common view, an enterprise backlog of all the resources and work. Example, all your tasks, stories, enhancements, defects, cases, etc. And as organizations increasingly shift to becoming more agile, it's not uncommon to find different development teams using multiple tools, in addition to ServiceNow's native agile development and safe capabilities. ServiceNow provides bidirectional integration to the most common tools, ensuring that the business has complete real-time visibility of work and progress against plan across all teams. Then we shift to strategic architecture. Strategic architecture is a core pillar of any transformation or of any project or strategy. Enterprise and business architects are charged with defining the technology architecture solutions that will drive the business forward. However, a lot of times we ask these architects to understand the capabilities of an organization without giving them the proper information at their fingertips. Most of the times, architects are leveraging things such as spreadsheets or emails or Visio diagrams, but have no real-time visibility into what their application estate looks like. This is what ServiceNow Application Portfolio Management is trying to solve. APM, as it's also known, affords a complete picture of the application estate, the underlying technology relationships, and access to key metrics such as total cost of ownership. With this level of visibility, architects can easily identify transformational opportunities, whether it's reducing the number of on-premise or duplicate apps, reducing spend on non-critical applications, or addressing gaps in the business capability model, all of which can then feed into centralized demand pipeline. So for example, if the strategy is to build a new service, and an architect will then might need to understand whether or not a service exists that already can deliver that capability, whether something can be repurposed to actually help deliver that capability, or whether you'll need to go and purchase a new capability and build some new technology. Application portfolio management can give your enterprise architects that level of visibility. Now, the power of these capabilities is further enhanced by leveraging the wider platform. As you can see as I've built out this diagram, APM is a perfect example of the advantages of a platform approach, as it leverages data and capabilities across the entire platform, including from IT operations management, which is in the center, bottom center, IT asset management in the blue box, and integrated risk management on the far right in the red. Discovery from IT operations management can help identify and add hardware and software configuration items to the CMDB, including applications and application services. whereas service mapping creates the business service context dependencies on those discovered CIs that support the application. As part of APM, the technology portfolio management capability utilizes software and hardware lifecycle data from IT asset management, enabling organizations to retire legacy applications and infrastructure, proactively eliminating the risk of unsupported or end-of-life software and hardware on the delivery of key services. ServiceNow's integrated risk management on the far right then can give organizations 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, enterprise-wide risk visibility, integrating risk management across IT, security, and the business to proactively manage risk as you plan, identify, prioritize, and audit changes that affect business continuity, enterprise risk, and compliance. APM can leverage this capability to provide visibility into the risks associated to a business application. For example, the loss of availability and the tracking of controls applied to tests for application compliance, to regulations, etc. Any risks discovered during this process can be added to the enterprise backlog and then worked on as a future enhancement or future fix to remediate that risk. All the work in the enterprise backlog is managed through plan, build, test, and deploy process. This includes transition activities that ensure applications and services being developed meet all operational requirements before getting introduced to production or a live environment. This leverages the change and release management capabilities of ServiceNow's ITSM. But it doesn't stop at deployment. Once in production, users are going to be accessing and using the products and services delivered. As they interact, there are going to be incidents that need to be managed, which may in turn become problems, and ultimately changes are requested, for example, to deploy hotfixes, which will then appear in the enterprise backlog. By being on the same platform as ServiceNow's IT service management capabilities, this helps enhance the collaboration between teams that plan, teams that build, and those that support and deliver technology. This helps to totally break down the silos. For example, by leveraging SAM and ITSM, you can proactively see the software cost of an IT change. If your business requires it, you can also provide access to customers via external customer portal. External customers may identify new requirements or ideas and feed them into the demand pipeline via ServiceNow's customer service management, where they are also able to see the latest status and collaborate on their projects through the CSM plus ITBM capability known as Customer Project Management. As more things continue to be added onto the enterprise backlog, at some point you'll need to have your DevOps teams perhaps develop a new service, provide an enhancement, or fix a defect. This is where our DevOps solution comes in to play. With the strategy being to deliver change at increased velocity and scale, ServiceNow looks to apply automation to the continuous integration and continuous delivery pipeline, integrating directly with the associated DevOps toolchain, GitHub, Jenkins, etc. ServiceNow DevOps accelerates the change process by automatically creating change requests when there's software ready to be deployed. Defining change policies enables low-risk changes to be automatically approved and implemented, enabling teams on the ones requiring the most attention. The ServiceNow approach enhances developer productivity by leveraging the tools they use on a daily basis and by not asking them to do manual work or updates in other tools. This approach allows organizations that have both a more classic IT operations team and a more modern DevOps operations team to collaborate together. Classic IT teams will tend to want to have very structured change request systems, whereas DevOps teams would like to be a little bit more fluid and move a lot faster. This way everyone is satisfied, and also the IT execs are actually given visibility into what's actually happening across their entire IT infrastructure. Increasing automation and by leveraging AIOps, organizations can start to move from reactive problem solving to more of a preventative approach, enabling them to decrease service outages and major incidents by pinpointing issues before customers are affected. Also, with the frequency and levels of attack severity and volumes continuing to increase, organizations can be overwhelmed by the volumes of security alerts and find it difficult to quickly prioritize and resolve threats. Faster response to vulnerabilities is achieved by having IT operations management and security operations on the same platform. Shared data and processes means that we can marry the severity of the vulnerability with the rich IT information to understand the type of system that is vulnerable, allowing an organization to quickly respond to the most business critical vulnerable items first. This work being expedited on the enterprise backlog. In summary, the platform for IT can really help you drive transformation across your organization. IT workflow solution delivers significant benefits to the organization, as we've discussed today. Bringing these capabilities onto a single platform acts as a force multiplier in terms of modernizing and automating IT. A single platform approach eradicates siloed tools. Increased automation results in fewer handoffs, reduced inefficiency and manual admin tasks. It helps to deliver resilient operations, eliminating outages and operate resilient services through complete visibility and understanding of your operational estate using AIOps-driven alerting. And you can retire legacy applications and infrastructure to eliminate the risk of unsupported or end-of-life software and hardware. It also helps you innovate at speed, accelerating innovation and consistently achieving a faster speed to market through support for multiple work methods, the use of best practice templates, and by improving the day-to-day productivity of delivery teams. So what I'd like to focus on now is how can you use this platform for IT in a modern operations context? More and more customers are moving from perhaps classic operations for running their IT infrastructure to more modern distributed teams. How can ServiceNow help these organizations? We all know that the COVID environment is fundamentally changing the way we do things, but it's also accelerating a number of things that are already in play. What we're seeing with our customers is they are going from digital transformation to this idea of digital disruption. One customer I talked to recently said, my digital transformation has moved from a 3-year roadmap to a 3-week roadmap, and I've got to get the results out now. And what we're also seeing is that customers are starting to focus more and more on DevOps and site reliability engineering, or SRE. And operation leaders are starting to embrace these DevOps practices and bringing in infrastructure operations. And that's what site reliability is all about. It's been around for a while, but the adoption is definitely accelerating. What we're also seeing with customers is that they are driving those efforts. And what we're seeing are these following two things. They're looking at their operating models and evolving those. And the modern architecture stack is starting to transition away from the way they've always done things to new ways of providing solutions to their customers. Customers are starting to evolve their operating models. And what we're seeing with our customers is they traditionally started out with a classic operations model. And this model will continue for the foreseeable future. However, what we're starting to also see is customers moving to a more distributed SRE teams to run. This allows them to run faster. However, it traditionally only ever used to be used for new projects. However, this has now become mainstream, and operational leaders not only have to support them, but actually embrace them. One of the customers we're working with has a new role called the Vp of Sre, and he and his team are really driving the transformation. A couple of areas that they really are driving are things such as, the teams now need to be cloud native. They need to leverage things like microservices, containers, stateless. This is the new infrastructure they are dealing with, very different than the traditional one. The second practice they are really driving is observability, moving from only monitoring to also using logs, metrics, and traces as a way to respond to service degradations faster. Everyone knows about AI and ML, or artificial intelligence and machine learning. Everyone loves to talk about these because fundamentally, as there is more and more data, people are struggling to make sense of it and are looking to automate to let the machines do the work. The operating model is different. The modern practices are different. Good news is that the outcomes haven't changed. If you think about traditional operations and modern operations, you're still talking about server resilience. You want to prevent outages, and when there is an outage, you want to respond faster and quicker. Speed is the most important thing, as it's all about digital disruption. How do you get the code out quickly, but ensure that you have an operating model to support it? Finally, at the end of the day, customers tell us that we need to do all these things, but don't have any additional budget. Customers are starting to move more and more to these modern architectures with a focus all about the CI/CD pipeline. So what we're seeing with customers on the continuous integration is that it's not just about development teams using that pipeline. What's really happening now is that infrastructure and operations teams are also embracing the pipeline to drive automation of the infrastructure. This is really focused around infrastructure as code. So they are treating the infrastructure operations as if it's development. And fundamentally, the problem that's coming up more and more is still service visibility problem that never went away. In fact, it's getting worse. It used to be large enterprise services. Now it's all these microservices that are all over the place. So a lot of customers are asking our help to get both developers and operations to get the services registered in real time from this pipeline so they know what's happening. Then we move to continuous development. Most of the customers I've spoken to have invested heavily in this space. The challenges customers are facing in this area is the change process. Customers still need to have control, and this is slowing them down. I've spoken to customers that are taking hours of manual processes for their developers to get code out, and it's reducing productivity and the experience. So they come to ServiceNow and ask us if we can help automate the change process. The last piece is around operations. This is the part where all of our customers are standing up those modern environments, and the operating model requires them to deploy these services to the teams. And with a distributed model, the problem is now different, but they are distributed. The problems are still, how do I notify the right people when things are happening? How do I quickly respond? And how do I get to predicting issues as opposed to reacting to them? As customers move to SRE, they're interested in service level indicators, service level objectives, and error budgets. That's how they're measuring the performance of their services. So the value of ServiceNow platform for IT in this space is that we plug into the pipeline. We make it seamless for your developers and infrastructure operations to plug into the platform because we don't need them to change their tools. We let them use the tools they love. Then our ITOM solution allows them to register services quickly in minutes or even seconds, sometimes from the pipeline without having to use the UI, and then be able to respond to service outages based on metrics quickly via distributed teams. We also add our predictive AI ops piece that lets customers quickly analyze their logs and identify issues before they happen. One customer we are working with used to do this manually. They didn't register any services, they just used our incident management, and they were flooding incidents into our system. They use Azure and Azure Alerts, and the alerts were coming in and it was difficult to manage. By leveraging our ITOM solution with Azure, they have drastically improved the experience and reducing the noise. Then on top of this foundation, we can then help automate the change process. This DevOps solution plugs into the pipeline and automates the change. One recent customer who has leveraged this capability identified approximately $8 million worth of automation opportunities to really transform the process. ServiceNow has thousands of customers globally who have leveraged the platform for IT to start their digital transformation and completely transform the way IT works in their organizations. Here is a small sample of those customers. If you use your phone to scan the QR code in the top right-hand corner, this will take you to our ServiceNow website where you can actually view the detail behind a lot of these customer examples.
네, 앞서 말씀드린 것과 같이 서비스나우의 IT를 위한 플랫폼은 IT 서비스 관리를 기반으로 운영관리, 비즈니스 관리, 개발, 데브옵스, 보안 또는 리스크 관리 등 다양한 업무 포트폴리오로 구성되어 있고 이 모든 것들을 하나의 플랫폼으로 제공하고 있습니다. 여러 포인트 솔루션의 단순 집합 형태가 아닌 하나의 아키텍처, 하나의 데이터 모델로 구성되는 단일 플랫폼입니다. 서비스나우의 많은 기업 고객들은 이 플랫폼을 IT 트랜스포메이션의 초석으로 활용하고 있습니다. 이로써 디지털 전환에 방해가 되는 단편적인 툴들과 사일로를 벗어날 수가 있었고요. 지속적인 서비스나우의 혁신을 통해 속도와 품질에 영향을 끼치지 않고 고객 밸류 스트림을 처음에서 끝까지 성공적으로 관리할 수가 있었습니다. 오늘 준비한 웨비나의 내용은 여기까지입니다. 다시 한번 귀한 시간 내주시고 경청해 주셔서 감사합니다.